Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the second day of our program for the webinar. I would like to especially welcome Kekelidze from Russia, who will give us a view of the market segments for innovative energy supply systems in Arctic regions of Russia. There's small changes in the program today, but we will try to catch it as close to the program as possible. But George, if you're ready, I see you are there.
Good morning. Do you hear me?
Oh, I think you have to switch on your microphone.
It's switched on.
Now it's on. Thank you. Sorry, it might be a problem here. But
Okay.
Anyhow, you're on. That's the most important thing. Please go on, George.
So I can switch to the demonstration of the screen, right?
Yes.
I hope you see my screen now.
We do.
Okay, excellent. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to be with you today. Thank you, Morten, for invitation. I would like to give you the presentation of the opportunities, basically, which you can see in Russia, and especially in particular with the emphasis of the Arctic region, because this is one of the hot subjects today in Russia, because there is where the finances are, and the opportunities that I'm putting here, they are very practical ones, they are applied ones, because what we did in Eurosolar, which is the Association for Development of Renewable Energy, European Association, and I'm chairman of the Russian section of it, we try to give the very practical opportunities to grow the business. So if you have the product which you want to bring into the market, then we can together see how we can make this a business case. If you are on the R&D stage, there is also opportunities for that as well, which you will see in my presentation. So first of all, I would like to show you the map, which it's basically what is Arctic. Yeah, Arctic is the large region for Russia, and here you see the wind. The brown part is up to 25 meters per second speeds, and then these yellowish parts are the 6 meters per second. So there is a lot of opportunities for the wind, and obviously what is also important is that today the Arctic region of Russia is not only this part, not only the very northern part, but also the transportation way which goes through Europe or from Europe down to Vladivostok here. And there is the big financial instruments now in place to develop the infrastructure in these areas. And this includes also the energy supply, which in often cases is the wind energy. So this could be a good opportunity to install your products. Of course, there are the specifics for this region. It's a very severe region, and in most cases, the equipment has to be capable of, let's say, withstanding the very low temperatures. For example, we helped with the installation. It was on the solar part, but it was somewhere in this region. We put 1 megawatt of solar and 8 megawatts of diesel. It was a combined system, and the temperature was in the certain cases minus 62 on Celsius. So this is not what you find very easily probably in your normal conditions of products. But anyway, This particular regions have several big cities now, big in Arctic understanding. And also Russia became part of the this Arctic Council, which was formed between the all countries. I think also Denmark is part of it. And in Russia, I think is chairman of this particular institution for the next 2 years. So that's also another opportunity why government is trying to put as much innovative products as possible in there. The good thing about this particular installations is that you don't need localization, so it can be the ready-made products which are manufactured in your house in Europe and delivered and directed. But there are also certain market segments for the localized cases, which we will touch a little bit later. I just wanted to show you a couple cases which have been installed in the last months. This is the Anadyr, which is one of the ports, and this is very, I think, a descriptive picture, because you can see here the oil farm, and there is some production facilities also up there, because in many cases there are either refineries or in certain cases the gold mines or mines for diamonds and other metals which need energy. And obviously what we should keep in mind is that if you look at the Russian map, going back here, there is not the whole Russia here, but 60% of Russian territory is not covered by the electric grid. And obviously most of these parts that we are talking about, except for maybe this part here, they're not covered by the electric grid. So there is a lot of opportunities for wind installations here. This is another new case which was made by the company RossHydro. RossHydro is one of the biggest half governmental, half private institution, which has hydro stations, solar stations. Now they started wind stations. In this case, they are making the first pilot projects with the Japanese company Komai and Mitsui. These are the two companies that made this project together. And this is the installation in Tiksi, which is also the port in the northern part. So now going to the, let's say, institutional documents, what we have is there is this program which is called Implementation of Power Supply Systems in Remote and Isolated Areas. Eurosolar Russia was one of the initiators of this program, and it was approved by the Ministry of Energy of Russian Federation. So we have the framework in which we can bring in the new products and do the pilot projects. The first stage of this national project, and it was given the title of the national project, is now finished. It was done together with the German energy agency DENA. And if you're interested, we can send you this report. It's available on the DENA website as well. And this is the framework within which we can start promoting and installing the pilot projects. The other important aspect is probably this, to understand how the Russian market works. There are certain market segments which are supported by the governmental subsidies. Well, one of the most popular governmental subsidy is the regional grid connected projects, which are guaranteed by the law number 47, from 100 kilowatts to 25 megawatt systems. And for wind, this is very much usable. We already have experience in developing such projects. We have found the investors in solar, and we have won several tenders in solar part. So far, we have collected under the law 47 during the year 2020, together with the together with the other consortium members, about 60 megawatt of the solar projects. These are small pieces, let's say 10 megawatt in Bashkortostan we got, 10 megawatt in Krasnodar, and 24 megawatts in Dagestan, and so on. So we have already the experience how to run these projects and how to make them happen. And now for the next stage, we would like to do this on wind side, because the local governments are also asking us for that. The difference here is that this you can do all over Russia, not only in Arctic region. And these are the products that require localization. So if you want to enter this particular market, you should be ready to do the localization of your product in Russia, which together with us is not a problem, because we can find you the proper partner, the factory that can do it, the electrical factory or the mechanical factory, and we can go through the whole list of what needs to be localized and what can be delivered ready-made. The other market segment, which is also all around Russia, is the microgeneration, which was introduced as a law in 2020. And here, if you put the small system, it could be wind, it could be solar, on the households up to 15 kilowatt, then whatever you generate extra can be returned back to the grid. Now this system also works, and it's also available for the installations. And the last one, energy supply to remote areas. Here you go case by case, because the different regional governments have different support programs that they offer for this one. What we can do in particular to help bringing your product to the market is to find a structured deal with the customer. This customer could be the municipality, it could be the meteo station, it could be different kind of ownership, let's say systems or villages or whatever needs are for the energy. But they need the energy and they are located far away. So that's the two things that are in common between them. We can also together get the subsidy for the project developers and investors if there are such interested parties in today's conference, because we have the number of co-investors on the Russian side who would be happy to step in a consortium, so to speak. So forming such project consortiums is very important, and this is basically what we are concentrated on. And the last but not least, which I would like also to describe in the separate slide, is the applied research opportunities. And in applied research, we have several different funding possibilities today in Russia. So this could be, I put them here in two different ways. In combined energy supply systems, which is wind plus solar plus diesel installations. This normally is all over the country happening, and here normally there is no grid, so wind plus solar plus diesel in different municipalities. Some of them are small, only 10 people living there. Some of them are up to 4,000 people, but there is necessity for some installations like that. They are done with the energy service contracts, and they could include the wind systems as well. And the second ones are the wind, battery, and gas installations, because very often there is the gas available in these remote areas, but it's mainly used for the heating purposes, and combination of the wind farm giving electricity and the gas turbine giving the heat is something that is going to be developed. And I also would like to draw your attention to the energy supply for emergency cases. This is very important part for the R&D in Russia today. We have been involved in creating the 20-foot container systems with which are then easily erectable with the wind turbine parts in them. So if there's an emergency case somewhere where there is, difficulty and no electricity, then this kind of system can be delivered over there. There are special trucks which can do that, and they can be dropped down there also from the air. And the key is that the wind farms which are installed inside can be easily erectable, so they don't need much time or energy to be erected. So that's one case which is very realistic and which is right now being developed. The second one is also very critical today, especially after the last emergency case in Norilsk, where a huge amount of oil was spilled, is to have the wind system together with the crude oil generators. These are the generators that are using not diesel, but they are using crude oil as a fuel. So they can eat actually what is spilled over there. So that's the second type of systems. And the third systems are small wind energy systems that can be dropped from the helicopter to the whatever emergency case is there, if there is no possibility to land. So this could be very small systems. It could be also together with the or installed into the small vehicle, which can also be dropped in from the helicopter. These are kilowatt range, but they could be used for the radio and for the telecommunication, maybe for the small heaters and so on. Well, this kind of systems, if they may seem small, but if you take the range of Russia and let's say the customers who can be here, these are the state organizations which need this in the big amounts, and they are ready to put quite substantial funding into this developing of such systems. This could be something that you and us, we can work together. So I'd like to draw your attention that in June 21, we will have the forum for renewable energy and exhibition, renewable energy for development of regions in Moscow. This will hopefully be the physical forum. In 2021, this is one of our first forums that we had before with the Minister of Energy and even Adnan Amin, who at that time was head of the IRENA, International Renewable Energy Agency. So this could be something where you could present your products, and we would be happy to do all the infrastructural support for your coming to Moscow at this exhibition. And yeah, basically, final slide, I would like to let you know that there are also other markets where the normal cases could be used. One of them is also Georgia, which is developing today for the small wind, and another also the normal territories of Russia, where the small wind can also be developed. And we have here the partners, companies, EPC companies, marketing companies, institutes, universities, and Eurosolar Russia and Eurosolar Georgia that could be our partners to develop in these countries. Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you very much, George. I think it was a great invitation you just sent to everyone, that there are all these opportunities, and it seems also that there will be some funding available. Looking into, yes, George, looking into the, before I open up for the questions and comments, I would like to ask you, do you have an idea about which percentage of funding is available on the projects in Russia and Georgia?
Well, it depends. If this is the R&D project, then this could be up to 100% of the funding, which either is in bilateral programs or in pure Russian programs. Then it could be, let's say, 21, 23, it could be included into the funding program together with the Russian partner. So that's one case. But we normally don't take the cases where the products are on the early stage of development. We would like to concentrate on the cases where basically either the product is, let's say, 100% ready or at least 90% ready. So we minimize the chance of screwing up, so to speak. So that's for that cases. For the development cases and for the investment cases, then if there is a developer that wants to come in, he can choose, for example, it could be from 20 to 50% investment on the practical project. And if the governmental funding is put into the practical project, for example, the wind farm of, I don't know, 5-10 megawatts, then the government actually signs the obligation to pay back the investor within 15 years with the 12% IRR. This is the law. So that's something that any company can pick up.
Sounds really good. Just a question which also in other countries, there is a law saying that so and so many percentage of the product should be produced in this country. Do you have such legislation in Russia and Georgia as well, that saying that maybe 20, 30 or 40% should be produced? Is there a law for that in Russia and Georgia? Right.
In Georgia, there is no law. In Russia, there is a law which is called the localization law. But again, it's for the different market segments. For example, in Russia, we have some large companies like Vestas that localize their production, and they are now manufacturing the large turbines of 2 to 4 megawatt. And this goes into the localization of 65%. So they need to localize 65% locally. If there is the opportunity to go into the state-supported program, this 65% will continue to be as a topic. And this is what I said, that if you have the product, we can help you localize it. But there are other market segments in Russia which do not require localization. For example, Arctic does not require localization at all. Because it's in a different, let's say, pricing zone for the electricity. So we will go case by case with the partner. If you are ready to bring in and localize the product, market opportunities are much higher, but we need a developer together. If not, then we have to pursue the cases either with the R&D or with the energy service contracts. Both are possible.
Thank you, George. That was really informative. Thank you. Then now I would like to open for questions and comments. Do we have any? Well, not right now, but they probably will pop up a bit later. We still have some minutes to go on, George. I think that what you were saying here, we are aware that talking about 62, 65 minus degrees Celsius is quite high, and of course for wind turbines there might be lubrication problems and so on. And not many places in the world there are experienced with lubrication as there are in Russia. Do you have any ideas about for these companies who probably want to go in and cooperate with Russia? Can they get any help from for the lubrication or other means? For it might even need some special alloys for example, wind turbines.
Yeah, that's right. Well, first of all, I can give you the example of, for example, solar, right? What we had the experience already that even if temperature goes down so low, normally if there is the problems, then the temperature goes up and these problems disappear. So maybe there will be some time where the turbine will not work, but for that there will be the opportunities with the battery or exchange to the other source of energy. So I would say that the normal cases for this part of Russia would be if it works for 50 degrees, that's good enough. I mean, normally the turbines are designed for -40, more or less. But here, for example, this particular company, Japanese companies that delivered their products, they had some support from the local institutions who are developing these lubricants. This is available, and there are several such institutions, and also the mechanical part was done by RossHydro, because RossHydro as a partner has quite experienced staff all over the country. So that's one case. The other thing is that, for example, the range of the products is very wide, which is necessary today in Russia. It could be the very small wind turbines, could be up to, I don't know, 1 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt for the smaller household installations, and then it could be, let's say, there is nothing available on under 1 megawatt range. So today in Russia, if you're talking about, let's say, 300, 500, 700 kilowatt, this is the good range which could be considered for the localization as well, and for the pilot projects. And some of them would be used in the Arctic, and some of them could be used also in other areas. For example, there is the whole Black Sea shore in Krasnodar region, where the hotels don't have enough electricity and they would like to have something. There are the mountain villages in Dagestan, whereas there is no grid, and there is a lot of local finances available to create the market for that. So we have to go case by case and product by product to identify the right approach.
Well, I'm asking also about the alloys for the wind turbines, because if you send the wrong material to Russia and it crashes down because of temperature and so on, therefore it's important that these people who want to make systems for the Arctic region, that they are using the right material. But as I understood you, there is access to these institutions, research institutes and so on, who can actually help with specifications and so on, what will be necessary.
That's correct. That's correct. They will give the specifications, and they will help also to choose the right materials together.
Oh, that sounds good. But they can get in contact via you, Eurosolar Russia, to these institutions, or how to?
Yeah, we can do this. They can, your partners can contact you,
yes,
Morten, and then we can build out this case by case, or they can contact us directly, whatever is convenient for you.
Yes, but anyhow, everybody is welcome to contact me. We have a question from. Pardon? Matteo Becate, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Matteo. I represent ESPE. We are a manufacturer of small medium wind turbines based in Italy, with a range between 20 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt. I'd be very interested to ask to George about this power range, specifically between 20 and 100 possible applications in Russia, and the way of introducing this power range from Europe to Russia. Thank you.
This particular power range, as I said, could be used for small regional installations in the villages where there is lack of electricity, and there are a number of such cases in Russia. I would say that closest to your, also geographical, I don't know which part of Italy you are from, but if these turbines are used
near Venice, near Venice.
Near Venice, so that's not a mountain area, but for example, we have the wonderful opportunity in Russia.
We have a turbine installed at 2,500 meters above sea level in the Alps. So we are not far from the Alps, which is a very mountainy area. Yes.
Right. So in Russia, there is the new system of institutions created. They are called the Corporations of Development of the Region. And we work very closely with these corporations. And for example, the Dagestan Corporation of Development, they have this special program, and they're looking at the moment for the small wind turbine manufacturers like yourself in the range of 2,200. So this could be the good case to go with this kind of an institutions, because they are creating their own market. They know that in their region there is a necessity, and they are creating the local support programs to attract the technology and to make sure that, for example, if localization is not needed, even better. If localization is needed, there is also some factory available locally that can do some assembly if you send things in pieces. So we can continue this discussion on the case of Dagestan, for example.
Well, thank you very much. To keep on with the scheduled program, I think we should stop here. But I hope it will be possible, because Galal Osman, who should have come in at 11 o'clock, he will not. Has not been able to participate today, and we'll see if we can find another time for him. But probably we could continue this discussion from 11 o'clock and a bit further, and to make a follow-up on this. I hope it will be all right with you, George. Do you have time for that?
Sure.
That sounds good.